Philadelphia Phillies baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, part of the NBC Sports Group.
Right there, go Phillies.
Go Phillies!
Who's your favorite Philly?
Down here, the decisions aren't too difficult. No worries about school or the office, just to worry about what to throw on the grill or which legend to root for when you arrive at the ballpark. It's spring training, and all you have to do is worry about game time. And that's coming up now. Halfway through the month of March and spring training rolls on. For these fans, it's like Christmas Day, a perfect spot to get the right autograph here at Bright House Field. The Atlanta Braves come calling for the first time this spring to take on the Philadelphia Phillies. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Chris Wheeler. Happy to be with you from Clearwater, Florida, yet again. And this afternoon, Joe Blanton will take the baseball on wheels. He's been one of the bright spots so far this spring.
Well, starting pitching so important for any team, Tom, especially for this one. They kind of thrive off it. And Joe Blanton is a guy they hope will be healthy this year and be in their starting rotation. He was not healthy last year. Had a lot of problems with his elbow. Tried to pitch through it during the month of April. They finally had to shut him down till late in the year. But so far, so good this spring. You see what he did in the game here against the New York Yankees. He pitched very, very well in this game. Then he came right back with an effort against the Baltimore Orioles, working on a cutter right there that he gets a called third strike, and a couple changeups were outs. One a swing and a miss, and one on a called third strike. He has an excellent changeup that he can throw to left-handed batters. Has really helped him in his career. And now Kyle Kendrick is another guy that they hope can step up and do something for them, maybe as a starter, maybe as a swingman, but Kyle has also pitched well this spring.
And the starters last year, they were the storyline for the Phillies, led by Doc Halladay and also Cliff Lee. They were outstanding.
Oh, the starters were really good for the Phillies. Best in the league, probably best in, well, definitely best in the division, as you're going to see right here. They had an ERA under 3. That's just amazing when you go through a whole season playing in the ballpark the Phillies play in, and to have that kind of an earned run average, just outstanding. Now, you think starting pitching is going to get you to the World Series, but hold on. Charlie Manuel, that wise old sage, says there's more to it than that.
When you get there, you got to be playing your best baseball. I think the San Francisco Giants proved that 2 years ago, and I think St. Louis Cardinals proved it this past season. I think somewhere along the line they got things started going their way. They started playing real good, and and they followed all the way through their momentum, and the fact that they were all cohesive and really played good together, and things happened great for them. And things have to be going good for you when you get there. I think if you look and you see all the teams every year that gets eliminated, the favorites and the team with a big record, a lot of times they don't win. And the reason is because it's some teams hotter, or that team's been playing a lot of baseball.
And like a lot of things in life, Tom, timing is very important.
Well, the Phillies hope their timing and success continues for the 2012 season. They'll continue on here in spring training, where they'll take on the Atlanta Braves. Jair Jurgen's part of a Braves rotation that has some question marks to it. He'll be facing Joe Blanton here this afternoon. It's the Phillies and the Braves. Obviously, families from all over have come over to see the Phillies rival here at Bright House Field. The lineups and first pitch when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by your local Tri-State Toyota dealers. Go Phillies, go Toyota, moving forward. By Citizens Bank, we're for homes. Talk to us today about how we can help guide you to the loan that's right for you. And by Xfinity, only from Comcast, the official HD triple play provider of the Phillies.
All your life,
Another sold-out crowd here at Bright House Field as the Phillies get set to take on the Atlanta Braves. It's a gorgeous day, as it has been for most of the spring. The Phillies have been very lucky that they've been able to get all of their work in without any interruptions during the course of this spring. Let's take a look at the Atlanta Braves starting lineup for this afternoon's ball game, and it's brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Leading it off at center field, Michael Bourne, followed by Martin Prado and Chipper Jones, who's DHing today. Dan Uggla is at second base. He'll back cleanup. Eric Hinsky is the number 5 hitter. He's at first base. Matt Diaz is in left. Jason Hayward in right. Tyler Pastrnicki, the shortstop, and he should be the everyday shortstop this year. He'll bat 8th. And J.C. Boscan is the catcher this afternoon. And they'll face Phillies right-hander Joe Blanton, who's had himself a good spring so far. 5 innings, 4 strikeouts, 6 hits, and 1 walk, and he has not allowed an earned run.
Yeah, Big Joe's just trying to get back on track. Tom proved that he's healthy, and he has so far. Here's our scouting report on him. He really has to locate his pitches. He uses changeup effectively against the left-handed batters.
Well, his first pitch is low to Michael Bourne. Bourne last year hit .294 overall with 2 home runs and 50 runs batted in. Swing and a miss. The former Philly prospect traded to the Houston Astros, and then last year the Astros traded him to the Braves. Spring training so far, he is 6 for 25. Up high, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Bourne. Got to keep this guy off the base paths. He stole 61 bases a year ago.
Guy's like an automatic double when he gets on.
May not be the case in spring training, but as we get closer to the start of the season, he'll be working on every part of his game.
Sure, base stealers are going to try and steal bags during spring training because that's part of their game.
Here's the 2-2 from Blanton. Chopper to second base. Freddie Galvis, who's gotten a lot of time at second base, takes care of Michael Bourne. 1 away here in the first. First outing, Joe Blanton threw 1 ground ball out after another, and that's always a good sign. Then as the outings went on, he would start working on some other pitches and wouldn't throw as many fastballs. Here's Martin Prado, who's playing third base today in place of Chipper Jones, who's just the DH.
He can get ground balls on his changeup and also on that sinker that he just threw.
Prado's had a great spring, and it's been a lot of what he's done lately. He's 11 for 27 this spring. And he said just a few games ago he just changed his approach and decided he was going to be more aggressive even in the spring. And he's behind, no balls and 2 strikes. There he is. He's 4th in batting average in spring training baseball among National League teams.
That's just a good hitter, period. And he's a very, very valuable player on a team because he can play the infield, he can play the outfield, swing the bat. He's not going to hit a lot of home runs, but he'll hit some timely home runs every once in a while when he looks middle in and pulls a ball.
He'll be playing left field again this year with Chipper Jones over at third base. Now the 0-2. Up high, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Braves won yesterday. It was only their 2nd victory this spring. They beat the Washington Nationals. And we mentioned during yesterday's telecast, although it is just spring training and a lot of folks are just brushing it off. I mean, there was some doubt that was starting to creep in a little bit over the last couple of days, but they got a win yesterday.
Well, the way they finished last season, that was tough. And the Phillies certainly had a lot to do with what happened to them. What they beat them 6 games in the month of September,
including the last 3.
I think they beat them 3 in Philly too, or 2 out of 3 at least.
Those last 3 games were 3 of the best games, really the best played games that the Phillies had during the final month of the season.
Yeah, well, they were in that little bit of a funk, and then they won in New York, and then went into Atlanta and swept them, won 4 in a row at the end.
Blanton wanted that pitch. That looked like a pretty good location. Dan Iasonia is behind the plate again. We say again because he came in midway through the game yesterday for the injured Tom Hallion, who took a foul ball off the face mask.
And that rattled him, and Tom had to leave the game.
Over to third, Placido Polanco stays down on it. Throws out Prado. So back-to-back ground ball outs for Blanton. 2 outs here in the first. Braves and the Red Sox both faltered down the stretch last year, and sometimes you just can't stop a runaway freight train. I mean, it was Look, I mean, look at it. 9-18 in the month of September. They lost 7 in a row to the Phillies.
Yeah, the Phillies did sweep them in the series at Citizens Bank Park, a 3-game series, and then everybody knows what happened in that series in Atlanta, where, you know, a lot of the tongue-in-cheek stuff during the offseason was, well, why do you let them lose a game?
Yeah.
Not let the Cardinals go in. Well, heck, the game went at the end, what, 12 or 13 innings?
It was a great game.
And Phillies had kids pitching in that game, so they had plenty of chances to win it.
Chipper Jones behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes.
And Kimbrel blew a save in that game.
We were down in Atlanta, and a lot of the folks around the press box were saying the Phillies didn't want the Braves to get into the postseason. The 0-2 up high. In reality, I don't think the Phillies cared whether the Braves went into the postseason. They just wanted to right their ship a little bit.
No, what they did was catch the hottest team in baseball and took it right to the end in the World Series, the Cardinals.
Right side, Galvis. Nice play on a high hop. The spin, and that pirouette set himself enough to get the throw over to first. And the side is retired. 3 ground ball outs for Joe Blanton in the Braves half of the first, including this one by Freddie Galvis. The young man is opening some eyes away from shortstop. Well, back inside the Phillies dugout, scoreless ball game as we go to the bottom of the first. Joe Blanton, a pretty good first inning against the Braves. Let's take a look at the Phillies starting lineup, brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Leading it off at shortstop, Jimmy Rollins, then Placido Polanco and Shane Victorino. Jim Thome took a lot of ground balls today before the ball game. Now he's a DHing and batting cleanup. Hunter Pence, the right fielder, hits 5th. John Mayberry 6th. And the bottom third of Scott Posednik, Carlos Ruiz, and Freddie Galvis. And they will face right-hander Jair Jurgens, now 26 years old, coming off a year in which he won 13 games for the Braves. Hasn't been a hot spring training with a 10.38 earned run average.
Well, the Braves last year were just tremendous with their starting pitching and then the back end of their bullpen with Vendors and Kimbrel. But then they started to have injuries. This guy got hurt. Hudson is banged up. He won't start the season. Look at the scouting report on Jurgens, who's a sinker baller. Tommy Hanson got hurt. So, you know, they have a lot of question marks going into the season with their rotation. They have some kids that could possibly step up. We saw Teheran last year. We saw Delgado, those kind of guys. But Jurgens is really important, Tom, to them to get going on a good foot with their rotation.
Jimmy Rollins leads it off and takes the first pitch fastball down low. It's 1-0. Rollins 5 for 23 this spring. Overall hitting .217. Ball and 1 strike the count right past Sam Perlazzo in the first base coach's box. The Phillies staff today is diminished here in Clearwater, but the bench or the base coaches are here. Sam Perlazzo and Juan Samuel. The reason it's diminished is because the Phillies have a split squad. They're playing the Tampa Bay Rays down in Port Charlotte. Pete McCannon is down there. So Charlie Manuel does not have Pete with him. And Rich Doobie is apparently down there because Joel Pinheiro is throwing in that ball game.
Yes, he is. And he lives down in that area, so he's going to spend the night and then meet the club at Braden. I only know this because I ran into Mr. Cheerful this morning on his way out, getting into his car.
2-2 the count.
He just started in, as you can imagine, one-liner after another about our failure to attend certain games that he attends. I had to laugh and say goodbye. We're really going to miss you.
And a call, strike 3. Rollins down looking, 1 away as Placido Polanco comes up. Jimmy Rollins, the longest tenured player in Philadelphia sports. We asked him about that.
Every time you've played, or I've played the Braves, you know Chipper Jones is going to be there. There might be a lot of moving parts, but Chipper is there. And the Braves without Chipper just don't seem like the Braves anymore. And when I look at Derek Jeter and the Yankees, it's the same thing. There are a lot of moving parts, people coming in, people going out, but he's the one constant. When you go play the Yankees, when you go play the Braves, you want to see those guys in that uniform because they represent that organization.
Well, Jimmy Rollins will be with the Phillies organization at least 3, possibly 4 more years, which is great to see. Placido Polanco, the hitter, and he rips one to left field, a base hit. He took that 0-1 pitch, and that's the best swing of the spring for Placido Polanco.
Yeah, that was interesting, too. Yeah, as he did hit that right on the nose, Tom. But what Jimmy was just saying about longevity and Chipper, nowadays you don't see that many guys.
No.
We had Mike Schmidt stay here his whole career with the Phillies, retire in a Phillies uniform. You don't see much of that nowadays. And you have 2 guys here today, and that guy right there and another guy, Chipper Jones, who have had amazing career. Chipper Jones is a Hall of Famer, and Jimmy is one heck of a baseball player, working on his swing a little bit there. But, hopefully Jimmy will end his career in a Phillies uniform, and Jones will with the Braves.
Yeah, Rollins is on the doorstep of 2,000 hits, which he should get at some point this year. As Victorino shows bunt, takes the pitch low. Chipper Jones will enter the season with remarkable switch hitting numbers. 454 career home runs.
You talk about first ballot Hall of Famers. Let's just see where his numbers are when he finishes.
Well,
but he's going to be close to one.
I think it's easy, don't you?
I do, but you never know. Well, sometimes people don't vote for guys.
And the other thing, too, although the Braves were in the West, I believe, when Chipper began, the rivalry has surrounded Chipper Jones and Jimmy Rollins between the Phillies and the Braves.
All right.
1-1 the count to Victorino. Now 2 balls and 1 strike.
Remember seeing Chipper come up as a rookie in September against the Phillies one year, and then he blew his knee out and missed a whole season.
It was spring training that he blew his knee out. He was a shortstop at first, then played third, then played left field.
Well, his name, of course, everybody knows is Larry Wayne Jones Jr. And, the fans have liked to go Larry over the years. And it's really bothered Chipper. He has killed the Phillies.
You see his hit total, 2,387, second in Braves history behind Hank Aaron. Second in Braves history behind Hank Aaron. And there's ball 4. Victorino is aboard. So first and second now for Jim Thome.
Batting fourth, the designated hitter, number 25, Jim Thome.
Church is not a guy to overpower anybody, but when he's on, he's down with everything, and he can really be tough.
Well, he was tough on Jimmy Rollins, not so much with the last couple batters. Thome 4 for 16 this spring, 1 run batted in. Takes outside, 1 ball and no strikes.
It's a little awkward right now in his delivery. Whether he's trying to overthrow or trying to compensate for something.
Over toward the home base, and it's a left field. Rounding third, heading for home is Polanco. Good base running by Victorino to get to third. An RBI single. It's 1-0 Phillies. I have to admit, Diaz got to that ball a little quicker than I thought, and that was a closer play at third than I anticipated.
Yeah, and you don't want to get thrown out there, obviously, when you're already in scoring position, but Shane had that play right in front of him. Matt Diaz does get on the ball quickly, make a good play. Now, they were going to play Jim Thome to pull, of course. Looked like he tried to throw a little cutter on him, didn't get it in, and you see where the shortstop was playing up the middle, Pasternicki. Now, here comes that throw by Diaz, and just a little bit late, a good slide by Shane.
So first and third, 1 out, second RBI of the spring for Thome. Here's Hunter Pence. Pence 6 runs, 2 home runs during spring training. He has 8 hits overall and 28 at bats. Balls and 2 strikes. Hunter Pence and Michael Bourne both over from the Astros last year, helping both teams battle for a postseason spot. Pence got a chance to go. Michael Bourne did not. 3 straight basically fastballs to Hunter Pence, and there are 2 outs. Back-to-back strikeouts for Jair Jurgen.
Yeah, well, Pence will chase. Everybody knows, you know, he's a little bit of a wild swinger. And Jurgen's got ahead of him. Pitched a little bit off the plate, and he chased him.
So 2 outs, 1 run in. John Mayberry, the hitter. Mayberry.
That's one of the things, though, that they really have to improve on, and they've been a little bit better this spring. They left a guy out there yesterday. You know, you still get the run here, but when you get those runners to third, where a fly ball will give you another run. Phillies are not a team you think on paper are going to score a tremendous amount of runs, and they have to manufacture those kind of runs.
Right, 7th in the league in runs scored last year.
People want to call what little ball is or small ball, whatever, but that's part of, to me, I'd rather call it situation baseball.
You ask Charlie just calls it baseball.
Right. You know, that small ball becomes, you know, all of a sudden that becomes one of those viral terms, you know, where everybody, well, we got to play more small ball. What does that mean? You know, there's a lot of things when you look at in the course of a game that if you execute properly in situations, you call it small ball, call whatever it is, and as he says, it's just baseball.
Hitters count for Mayberry, 2 balls and 1 strike. Mayberry 6 RBIs so far in the spring to go along with 6 hits. Kinski gives it a peek, but it's way back in the seats. Another foul ball. Remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jurgen, since he came over from the Detroit Tigers, has won 47 games with the Braves. His pitch count this inning is up to 22, 13 strikes, 9 balls. As Wheels mentioned, the Braves, they have some issues with their rotation. Tommy Hanson was limited early on because of a concussion thanks to a car accident. It was a slight concussion. Tim Hudson had off-season back surgery, and they're hopeful, Freddie Gonzalez is, that Hudson will be back by the first week in May. He has been cleared to throw a little bit and start doing some things.
You know, and Hanson, as you mentioned, had the concussion in spring training, but he had arm problems last year.
Yeah. 2-2 the count to Mayberry. Another foul ball off to the right.
But these guys lived on last year. They didn't hit much. Brian McCann really struggled after he came back from his oblique injury. But they would shorten the game with that bullpen of Flaherty, Venters, and Kimbrel, and they used them a lot. And by the end of the season, they may have been a little tired.
Freddie Gonzalez began his managerial career with the Florida Marlins, and there was a big surprise around baseball when he was let go. And then the Braves picked him up the following year when Bobby Cox retired. Into foul territory. Boscan will give way to Prado, and the Phillies leave a couple. They do get 1 on the RBI single by Jim Thome. We've completed 1. He's like a kid in the candy store as he gets an RBI. Dan Uggla to start at the top of the second. Dan Uggla, Eric Hinske, Matt Diaz. Phillies up 1-0. And Uggla swinging from his heels right out of the chute.
New season.
Same swing.
Guy. Boy, does he attack early.
He's had a pretty good spring average-wise at 304.
What a horrible start he got off to last year with Atlanta, and then really picked it up for them.
He hit 185 in the first half of the year. He did hit 15 home runs, but 185.
It's amazing. It's a lot of at-bats. So, you know, his numbers, his average doesn't look very good, but
Freddie Galvis has been busy. Half step back to handle that one, but he had plenty of time to throw out Uggla. 4 outs, 4 ground outs for Joe Blanton.
When you look at Uggla, you say, well, where did he start?
Yeah. Well, we were talking before about Jimmy Rollins and Chipper Jones, the fact that they've spent their entire careers with one team. Greg Murphy had a chance to catch up with Chipper about that, and Chipper was more than happy to talk about that, wasn't he, Murph?
Yeah, he absolutely was, T-Mac. And, you know, he was flattered by what Jimmy had to say about him. He said, you know, when I was coming up, he was looking up to guys like Cal Ripken Jr. and a Tony Gwynn, guys that had Hall of Fame careers, all with one team, and he wanted to be that kind of guy as well. He says he looks at Jimmy as one of those guys as well, the catalyst of a championship team, and he called him an ambassador and an icon of baseball. So he looks up to Jimmy Rollins as much as Jimmy Rollins admires him.
Well, and both guys, as Murph, you found out, both guys are good to talk to, as Eric Hinske waves at that one. I mean, Jimmy is, obviously, but, you know, Chipper Jones, even after all these years, he's open to talk about stuff like that, but talk about anything when it comes to baseball.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, we had a nice conversation talking about just what it meant to him to be able to stay with the organization his entire career. And, you know, Phillies fans will remember that Chipper Jones has really killed them, as Will said, over the years. But I'll tell you what, if you are a baseball fan, you've got to love what Chipper Jones has done throughout his career. I heard you guys talking about the Hall of Fame. I think it's a no doubt about it for Chipper Jones.
Yeah.
He has been one heck of a player in his career.
Well, 454 home runs, a 304 lifetime batting average.
You know, he mentioned, you know, Murph, and you guys are talking about ambassadors of the game. I think Chipper Jones has been that. You know, he had a few little personal problems and stuff throughout his career, but when you look at Chipper Jones, he's a guy you look at and you're proud that he represents your game. And Jimmy, obviously, is just one of the great ambassadors for baseball.
And a called strike 3. Hinske down looking. First strikeout for Blanton. And that's a little paint right there.
Yeah, he's throwing great here today, getting his ground balls on sinkers and changeups. I think this was a breaking ball. No, it isn't. It's just a tailing fastball coming back. I thought maybe he was doing a changeup or something off speed, but that was kind of like the Vance Worley fastball.
Well, now 2 outs. Here's Matt Diaz, who the Braves reacquired last year from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Diaz overall hit .263 with no home runs last year at all.
It's amazing.
Well,
nice going.
He may have just changed his luck with that bomb. Solo home run.
It's your fault, you know, that
spring.
You'll get a letter saying that was your fault.
That's remarkable.
It is remarkable.
He went the entire year last year without a home run, and in his 25th at bat this spring, he just launched a home run.
Well, he's going to want you to follow him around.
I am not going to bring it up during the regular season.
And you rarely see him pull a ball like this, too. He almost always hits it the other way. But Blanton got one down the middle. He opened up, and bam. The wind is blowing out to left and left center. He hit that well.
Right.
Though,
it's the wind's fault.
Yeah. Okay. I got you.
So it's a 1-1 game. Here's Jason Hayward. He takes a strike. It's 0-1.
Well, that's one of those good ones, too. I mean, you barely get it out. And you hear bam in the background.
See, his last homer, look at that. Yeah. August 29th of 2010.
And that counts spring training, too.
I would think so. We saw him last spring. He didn't hit any home runs for the Pirates.
That was a good one. My late great friend and partner Andy Musser would have been proud of that, because he could do that with the best of them, and he didn't care. You know, he said, I don't care. I have nothing to do with it. But then he'd get the letters. Why do you do that?
0-2 the count to Hayward, and a called strike 3 right on the outside part of the plate. 2 strikeouts looking for Joe Blanton. Sandwiched around, a home run by Matt Diaz. Jason Hayward went down looking. Here we go. This is the pitch, and it was a beauty from Joe Blanton. Friday, April 13th, the Phillies and the New York Mets begin a 3-game series at Citizens Bank Park. Saturday the 14th is Turkey Hill Kids Opening Day. Fans 14 and under will receive a free Charlie Manuel commemorative baseball. And then Sunday the 15th, the Phillies will pay tribute to Jackie Robinson. Go to Phillies.com to purchase your tickets and check out everything that's going on at the ballpark in 2012. Scott Podsednik leads it off. It'll be Podsednik, Ruiz, and Freddie Galvis. Podsednik 8 for 26 this spring. It's been a very good spring offensively, and now he's getting a chance to face a quote-unquote major league pitcher. Some of his other at-bats have come later in the game against some of the young pitchers, but he looks pretty good. He looks like he's got a spring in his step.
And they're supposed to use Kimbrel today too, and they'll probably use him early, and he may get the hit off him too.
Fly ball, shallow left field. Diaz, he didn't see it, neither did Bourne. Diaz, well, maybe he just thought Bourne was going to be there, but it's going to be a double for Scott Podsednik.
Oh, you're right, Tom. He lost it in the sun. You know, when he looked up, he took one look at Bourne, it looked like, and then he looked back up for the ball, and it was, oh no, I hope it's not at my head. That was a spring training double. See the ball off the bat right now. Now here he comes. He's thinking, I don't know where this is. I hope Michael Bourne does. And then he realized, no, it's closer to me.
We had, you can hear the crowd mic down there, and Bourne was saying something to Diaz, and that's when he kind of stopped it. But you're right, it looked like he just lost it in the sun. Carlos Ruiz 6 for 10 so far this spring.
What Diaz was hoping he was saying is, I got it.
Yeah. Carlos catching in back-to-back days, partly because of the split squad. Phillies are playing the Tampa Bay Rays down in Port Charlotte. Jimmy Rollins due up after Freddie Galvis, chatting with Charlie Manuel. 2-0 the count.
George is pitching way a lot to these right-handed batters so far, and that really goes right into your game plan now if you're Ruiz to hit a ball to the right side. He throws it out there for you. It's a lot easier to hit it over there.
Now Podsednik already in scoring position at second base. He's getting a good sized lead off second. 2 balls, no strikes the count. And Carlos does try to go the other way.
You can't always do it, but at least try.
The outfield, Michael Bourne shallow and straight away, as you can see. Diaz is deep and left. Right side, that's a good job. Hinsky backs up on it, and Jurgens is there to cover, but Ruiz moved Podsednik over to third. Now, a lot of times with the 8-hole hitter, you don't want him to do that, but because the pitchers generally do up, but you have Freddie Galvis who's due up 9th.
Right.
Now you can try to get him home with less than 2 outs.
Exactly. You wouldn't want to do it if the pitcher were coming up in a normal National League game, but in this situation, Carlos does the job. And as we mentioned, what you just see Jurgens so far today, for whatever reason, everything in the right-handed hitters is away. So you can really eliminate half the plate, dive out there and hit the ball to the right side.
Galvis 8 for 26. The infield is in with Podsednik over third.
Yeah, they don't want to give up an early run on a ground ball to a 9-hole hitter, so they're going to work on their infield in play. More infield in defense, not play. Hope it hits it at somebody.
It's cracked foul at the first base line. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Podsednik goes back to third.
Galvis has done a pretty good job getting the ball in the air in these situations in spring training. Has a couple sacrifice flies.
He had 2 in 1 game.
Kissimmee the other day.
Right, 1 earlier in the spring. He continues to play almost every day at second base. Charlie Manuel said yesterday that Chase Utley is getting close.
And the hope is that means getting close to fielding grounders and getting a chance to be in a big league game. Over towards second. Here comes Pasetnik. The throw to the plate. A little offline. Boscan does a nice job to corral it. And they've got Pasetnik in a rundown. Galvis goes up to second. Nobody's covering there. So Pasetnik was going on contact. And he was caught heading toward the plate.
Yeah, and he figured, you know, he's anticipating a throw towards the middle of the plate. And he knows, well, I'm out by a mile, so I'm going to get in a rundown, let him get to second. See right here, the throw is wide. If he had kept coming, he probably could have scored because he'd gotten around, been able to get around Boscan. But as a base runner, your mind right there is thinking, well, you know, I'm out. And now my job is to stay in the rundown as long as possible and get the batter into scoring position. And that's what he was able to do. But more than anything, it was because the Braves in the relay, in their rundown play, there had nobody at second base.
So 2 outs, and here's Rollins, who struck out looking his first time up.
And that is something they just practiced right there. That was, you're going on contact, and it never looks good because, you know, sometimes fans will say, what are you doing? When are you running on that play? He's out by a mile. Well, if the ball's hit left or right of an infielder and you go on contact, you can steal a run, especially with a good base runner like a Pasetnik. That ball happened to be hammered right on the nose, right at the second baseman, Dan Uggla.
4-2-5 on the putout of Pasetnik on the fielder's choice by Galvis. 1-1 the count. Using the same philosophy against the left-handed hitters too. You know, trying to go to the outer part of the play. That was a breaking pitch.
I think he backdoored Jimmy his first time up for that called third.
Rollins trying to break this 1-1 tie here in the bottom of the second. And he hits one back toward the middle, and that's going to break this 1-1 tie. As long as Galvis can beat the throw by Michael Bourne, he's not even going to have a throw. An RBI single for Rollins, and it's 2-1 Phillies.
See, and that's the point right there about playing the game right. With Pasetnik staying in the rundown long enough that they're able to get the runner to second base, and maybe you can steal them a 2-out run with a runner in scoring position, where if the rundown play is real quick, then the guy's at first, and now you have a first and third. Jimmy looked like he got a high sinker out over the plate, and good looking line drive, base hit right back up through the middle, and Galvis scores the run.
Now let's see what Jimmy does with Polanco up. Polanco singled and scored his first time up. Toward right field, Hayward, and he glides over to make the catch. So the Phils settle for one on the RBI single by Jimmy Rollins. They leave one. 2 of the Bucks here at Bright House Field. It's the Phillies 2 and the Braves 1. Phillies on top 2-1 as we go to the top of the third. Joe Blanton will face Tyler Pastrnicki, J.C. Boscan, and Michael Bourne, the top of the order for Atlanta. Pastrnicki is the number 8 batter, and he takes a strike, and it's 0-1. 3 for 30 this spring, and they're giving him as many at-bats as possible.
Alex Gonzalez played that position very well for them last year, manned that 8-hole in the lineup, and he of course has gone as a free agent. So a kid out of their farm system, and they've been very good obviously with their farm system lately, bringing up some really good looking young players.
Trying to fight that one off softly up the third base line, a foul ball, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. I don't think there was any chance that Polanco, even if he had fielded that ball, would have gotten him up the first base line. If you look at the depth chart on the Braves website, you know, they have from position to position for Freddie Gonzalez. They have a number of positions where they're 3-4 deep. Second base and shortstop, they are not. So this is Pastrnicki's job, and it's Uggla's job, obviously. But at third, they've got Chipper Jones and Martin Prado. At first, they've got Freddie Freeman and Eric Hinsky.
Well, it's not the first time they plugged a rookie into an opening day job and done pretty well with it. You know, Freeman started out hot. I mean, Hayward started out hot. He kind of went the other way a little bit. Freeman was steady.
Yes. Well, Freeman was the opposite. He had a better second half. Look at Pastrnicki run, and the throw by Rollins because he was trying to get it there. Pulled Mayberry off the bag.
Yeah, well, you know, it looked like as far as he was concerned, he had to play the hop the way that he did.
So they scored that a hit. Even with a clean throw, I don't know if he would have gotten him.
Well, watch what happens with a hop here. It's a breaking ball, takes a big high hop off the plate, and Jimmy has to back up and then take the second high, take that high hop, and this guy can run a little bit.
So now Boscan. Brian McCann will be the everyday catcher for the Braves. David Ross will be the backup. That one is sliced the opposite way. And the Braves will have first and third with nobody out here in the third.
Good base running. Read that ball, knew exactly where Pence was when it left the bat. The young player, Pastrnicki. No hesitation going first to third.
Third hit of the spring for Boscan. And back to the top of the order for Michael Bourne.
See right there, he takes one look. But he knew where he was because he had looked out there before that. When that ball's hit, you know as a base runner, he can't get to that, and I can get the third. And don't hesitate.
Phillies will set up for 2 with nobody out here in the top of the third. And Michael Bourne rips it to right field, a base hit. That'll tie the game up at 2. Boscan will hold up at second. Pence with a nice throw in. So it's a 2-2 ball game on the RBI single by Michael Bourne. Seventh hit of the spring for Bourne.
Yeah, Michael Bourne, not a guy that pulls a whole lot of balls that way, but he looked like he was looking for a fastball early in the count to try and get that runner in from third base, and he does more than that.
Here's Martin Prado now with first and second. Prado grounded out his first time up. Joe Blanton of the Phillies will take a ground ball here. Shows bunt, takes low.
That looked like they were going to try and sacrifice there and work on that.
It's a good bunt up the first base line. Mayberry will throw out Prado. Sacrifice is successful. Second and third with one out. 3-4 on the putout. And that'll bring Chipper Jones to the plate. Jones grounded out his first time up. Phillies will play the infield back early on in this ball game. Chipper Jones is notorious to go after the first couple pitches in an RBI situation.
Oh, he loves first ball fastballs, as he made a living on those. And in the last 8-10 years, he changed so much as a right-handed hitter.
Outside, 1-1.
Used to be an out, not an out, but he used to be a guy that you wanted to see him hit right-handed, turn him around in a game. He's still a better left-handed hitter, but right-handed, he really got good.
Blanton threw 17 pitches in the first, 14 in the second. And he's run into a little bit of trouble here in the third in a 2-2 game. Over to the left side. That'll get the run home. Polanco chases Bourne back, throws to first. Mayberry hangs onto the bag. So it's 3-2 Atlanta. Polanco thought about having a foot race with Bourne back to the second base bag.
Not a good idea.
Said he thought about it. He didn't do it.
Yeah, he's going to lose that one. Odds are he'll lose that one.
So an RBI for Jones on the ground out.
Chipper Jones with a little just put it in play swing right there, and that's an easy RBI with the infield back. Polanco did take a look at Bourne to see if maybe he could just reach back and tag him or something, but you don't want to get Michael Bourne in a rundown, or he's just so fast.
Here's Dan Uggla, and Uggla waves at the first pitch breaking ball. Grounded out to second his first time up. That RBI, by the way, is the first one of the spring for Chipper Jones.
Chipper Jones just showing right there how if you can just somehow put a ball in play in those situations, you can get a run out of it.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Anticipating that Uggla wants to mash a fastball here. Blanton's gone off speed on him.
Busy day for Polanco. Gold Glover last year, made a Gold Glove throw over to first. The Braves, though, get a couple. RBI single by Michael Bourne, RBI by Chipper Jones. Middle of the third, it's 3-2 Atlanta. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Thomas Jefferson University Hospital. Call 1-800-JEFF now for an appointment. And by Citizens Bank. We're for homes. Talk to us today about how we can help guide you to the loan that's right for you. Frenchie's Tiki Bar, right there to your left. Jam-packed as always. Before, during, and even after games here at Bright House Field. There you go. I mean, yesterday it was live music being played just as the game went to its conclusion. And it's usually open for a couple hours after the game. Fans just hang around the ballpark.
Not many seats available out there after a certain point.
You are absolutely right with that.
People like to drop anchor there.
Here's Shane Victorino to lead it off. Phil's down 3-2 as we go to the bottom of the third. And Victorino takes a strike at the knees. It'll be Victorino, Jim Thome, Hunter Pence against Jair Jurgens. base hit for Victorino. At least it should be. Hayward's got a really good arm. Victorino heading to second and is there standing. So a leadoff double for Victorino. That'll bring Jim Thome to the plate. Well, we've been talking about Chase Utley and the fact that he's been taking batting practice consistently, and he has. This is earlier today. And Chase, when you're watching him take BP, he's hitting the ball pretty good. Now that knee, which cost him a lot of last year, is something that will continue to be a problem for him. It's tendonitis, so they are taking things easy. And there he is, standing next to Michael Jack Schmidt. But Charlie Manuel did say yesterday when folks asked about Utley, he said soon. So people want to speculate that there's more to the injury. But right now it just seems like they're just being very careful about it.
Yeah, that's all we know. Yeah. But he sure isn't having any problem with batting practice.
2-0 the count to Thome.
And this time last year he wasn't doing that.
No, you're right. He was taking some ground balls on a chair, but that was about it.
That was it.
Victorino at second. Thome has an RBI single already. They have the overshift on against him. And he hits it up the first base line, and it's 2-1. There was even question yesterday. Ken Rosenthal from Fox Sports talked about scouts saying that there was something different about Roy Halladay. They're kind of alluded to the fact that there might be an injury. Well, Doc this morning, and he was adamant. There's nothing wrong. That's poor reporting at the extreme end of poor reporting. It couldn't be further from the truth. Ruben Amaro also yesterday said this morning, there's nothing wrong with him. There's no basis for alarm. And Doc even said yesterday after the ball game that he was working on his cutter, his changeup. He wasn't really throwing an overwhelming amount of fastballs.
What they say, he was at 89 and that's panic?
Well, he was at 89, but he was
91 or 92. That's what he is.
89 to 92 in his last outing, and he said, I've thrown a lot of innings. Sometimes it takes a little longer in spring training to get yourself going.
Well, since he's been with the Phillies, he's 91, 92. That's what he is. So that's not like you go and say, oh boy, he's going 83 or something like that.
2-1 the count to Thome. And there's a strike. It's 2-2.
Sturgis has been able to drop that breaking ball, and some of these left-handed hitters behind in the count today, the way he just did to Jim. Have you ever had a guy up that you think would be able to hit a ball to the right side in this situation? He's at home plate right now. Ryan Howard would be another one.
Tried to check, but he went around according to the home plate umpire. So a strikeout for Jurgens. Yeah, there's one away. Tonight at 10, get an in-depth breakdown of Temple's bracket challenge with our panel of experts. Don't miss March to the Net tonight at 10:30 on Comcast Sportsnet.
A changeup. He just threw him 2-2, and thing really dove out of the strike zone.
Now one away for Hunter Pence. Drexel has advanced, so has Pennsylvania, the University of Pennsylvania, in the postseason. In the NIT, St. Joseph's lost last night to Northern Iowa. And LaSalle lost to Minnesota. Although they're not in the general Philadelphia area. Bucknell with a great win over Arizona last night in the NIT.
Close enough, Bucknell.
The Bison.
The Bisons. From Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. Not Lewistown, but Lewisburg.
Right. And today is, I guess, the third day of the NCAA tournament. The first four took place the last 2 days in Dayton. And games are already underway. Who you got winning the national championship, Wheels? Temple?
It would be great for Fran.
I do have Temple going pretty far in my
well, I hope you're right.
My bracket. Want to know the count to Pence. The Lions are not in the tournament this year, so I know you can't put them in the Final Four or the national championship.
I'm not used to them being in the tournament that often. Maybe someday. Change a lot of things up there in their basketball. So heard they recruited a really good player out of the Philadelphia area too.
2-0 pitch. There's a strike. It's 2-1.
You'll keep me up to speed on that. Thank you.
You're going to pick Bauer?
No, I don't know much. But, I mean, to me, I'll do what everybody else does and say it's Kentucky. That's really out on the limb.
They lost to Vanderbilt the other day, though, so they might be beatable.
Everybody's beatable, especially when you're dealing with a bunch of 18-year-olds or 19-year-olds, right?
2-1 pitch to Pence. Popped up right side of the infield. Dan Uggla and Hinsky are over. And it's Uggla who's under it. So Victorino still at second.
First baseman John Mayberry Jr.
So the Phillies had the leadoff double by Victorino. And now Tomey and Pence are retired. And it's up to John Mayberry. They get a 2-out base hit from Rollins. That was in the second. And they're trying to get a 2-out base hit here to tie this ball game up.
Victorino on one pitch looked like he was trying to maybe steal the bag. Think about it, but whatever Jurgens did stopped him. And you know, now it's not as big a deal if you steal third with 2 outs.
Line drive, base hit it to right field. Victorino should coast home. Hayward won't even make a throw, and it's a 3-3 game. Well, the Phillies have not been able to get that runner in scoring position home with less than 2 outs, but in back-to-back innings, they get 2 2-out base hits.
Good job by John Mayberry, but John Mayberry fights that one off a little bit. Hit Dan Uggla like he's trying to deke somebody. After, what are you going to do? There's 2 outs. You're not going to be deking anybody. That was funny to watch him do that like an outfielder.
He's practicing his decoys,
I guess.
He's got Pasenik doubled his last time up on a ball that Matt Diaz didn't see. Diaz is wiping his glasses right now. To the count to Pasenik. Pasenik last played in the big leagues in 2010. Hit .297 that year with 6 home runs and 51 runs batted in. That's that one to second base, a spinner to Uggla. And the Phillies settle for the run. They leave one. They get an RBI single from John Mayberry. So through the first 3 innings, we've had a little offense this afternoon. We go to the 4th. It's the Phils 3 and the Braves 3. Tied up at 3 as we move to the top of the 4th inning. Joe Blanton's still out there. Blanton's thrown 47 pitches so far. Gorgeous afternoon here at Bright House Field. A jam-packed crowd. The berm is nearly filled up. A lot of folks walking around, as you can see there. Back behind the berm, Eric Hinsky will lead it off. Hinsky went down looking on strikes his first time up. He's 0 for 1. Gary Matthews, all ready for the NCAA tournament, joins us up here in the booth. Soaking in Joe Blanton's outing this afternoon.
Yeah, Joe having almost those typical type of outings that he has, well, you know you're going to score some runs off of him. So therefore, as a team, you know you need to score 3 or 4 runs. He's had pretty good off-speed pitch here, I would think, here today.
Well, there you go. He just got Hinske for the second time on strikes. And Hinske was way ahead of that pitch.
Yeah, one of the things Joe has been working on, and that is that movement, and it moves away almost like a little bit of a screwball. You can see the way he was holding it in the glove there. Great movement, though, that he had on that pitch.
Here's Diaz, who homered his first time up. John Mayberry into foul territory, has a play on this one. 2 outs. 2 outs in very quick time. Follow the Phillies with MLB.com @BAT12 for your iPhone, iPad, or Android. Get spring training scores, stats, highlights, live audio, and more. Text @BAT to 31826 or visit Phillies.com for details. 2 quick outs, and here's Jason Hayward. And a strike to Hayward.
Jason's had a little bit of a rough time here this spring, evident of that average there. Just at that home run yesterday off of Strasburg, and they're thinking that they're hoping that one hit is going to get him on his way, but he's got some making up to do even from last year.
Well, he came to camp this year, and a lot of the Braves veterans like Chipper Jones said that he was back to being the Jason Hayward of 2 years ago when he was absolutely stunning in his first week of spring training. But he didn't have a great year last year, as you see there. And Blanton strikes him out for his second strikeout of the inning and his 4th overall. A 1-2-3 4th, and it was the best outing or inning of the day for Joe Blanton. Just 8 pitches. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Chevrolet. See your local Chevy dealer or visit ChevyDealer.com. Last of the 4th. It's a 3-3 game. Rather, and it's entertaining first 3.5. As the Phillies will send Ruiz, Galvis, and Rollins to the plate. 8, 9, and 1. You can visit Citizens Bank Park up close and personal by taking a ballpark tour with your group of 25 or more. Go to Phillies.com. You can do that during the season. You can do it out of the season as well. Ballpark tours and so much else at Phillies.com. Ruiz grounded out his first time up, but he was trying to move a runner over to third with nobody out. 6 for 11 this spring. And he takes low.
Jair coming right over the top. He's kind of changed that delivery just a little bit. Used to come from the side some, but because of that injury to that arm, he comes right over the top. As a bullet is hit right up there in the gap to right center.
Well, Ruiz will pull into second with a leadoff double. Second straight inning, the Phillies have a leadoff double.
Well, he's been looking pretty good at the plate. driving balls there. This ball probably out over the plate, and it is. But look at that swing as he keeps that head down, hitting against the front foot. No chance for Bourne to cut that off. Ruiz just cruises right on in the second base.
7 for 12.
But he's been hitting the ball hard, though, even some of the other at-bats when he hasn't been able to get hits. But that's really good.
Galvis rolls it to the right side. So instead of bunting, he grounds out and gets the runner over to third. So one away here in the fourth. Jimmy Rollins is due up, and Greg Murphy has found his way not only around this ballpark this spring, but also outside the ballpark. What's going on outside, Murph?
What's not going on? You know, T-Mac, all you have to do is look around this ballpark to know what a good time it is here at Bright House Field. But make no mistake about it, they start early here down here in Clearwater. You see some folks down here from the Delaware Valley. They've got the grills out, and they are tailgating just a couple 100 feet from where the minor leaguers are getting their work in. It is a good time indeed as Jimmy Rollins fouls one off. Lots of activity going on outside the ballpark. Then, time to go inside, but before you do, make sure you stop at the merchandise stand and get your stuff. It's just a great scene down here, and we've had so many people, thousands and thousands of people enjoying some vacation time, watching the Phils, and why not? It's a good time.
Yeah, absolutely, Murph. As the infield is in, Rollins lifts one into shallow left center field. This is going to be a tough play. Here comes Diaz, the shortstop. Pasternicki can't make the play. Ruiz trying to score, and he's out at the plate.
Wow.
Well, Pasternicki tried to make the over-the-shoulder grab, but because the infield was in, that was going to be a tough play. And Ruiz.
Well, you're right. That is a tough play, and especially with that sun there. But he picks that ball up there. That's Diaz coming in your pitcher, and he throws the rifle right there. Ends up getting him. Thought maybe he could have started that slide a little bit sooner, but they would have probably had him anyway. Not a fast runner, Carlos is.
Well, Rollins gets in the scoring position, and Rollins gets his second hit of the day. And here's Polanco with 2 outs, and he takes low.
Diaz not giving up on that play and staying right with it. That ball comes up right to him. He's had the play in front of him, so easy for him to throw that ball from where he was all the way to home plate.
Yeah, he still had to make a good throw, and he did. 2-0 the count to Polanco. Polanco today is 1 for 2.
The only thing Carlos could have done is maybe come a little bit further down, because you're not going to tag up on that play. So if you come further down, you can read it and then maybe be able to get a little bit better jump. I thought he was going back there, not far enough there to third base. J-Rob steals that with no time.
Rollins with his third stolen base of the spring. Well, Sarge, I think that's a good point. I was watching the play. I didn't know where Carlos was, but you're right. If it was caught, he probably couldn't have tagged from third anyway, so maybe go a quarter of the way down the line.
Well, yeah, or at least where you feel comfortable that you can actually get back.
Ooh, tough pitch. 2-2 the count.
Those Brave pitchers are notorious for that outside corner. They practice that in the minor leagues. Leo Mazzoni used to talk about that. The young pitchers, they wanted them to command the outside part of the plate.
Polanco, he just went right with that one. The Phils will take the lead. An RBI single to right. Rollins scores easily. Second hit of the day for Polanco, and it's 4-3 Phillies. And another 2-out base hit.
Well, good to see. Good to see Polanco coming up with some base hits, and he won't have to be answering a lot of questions whether or not he's healthy when he's swinging just like that. So I'm more accustomed to seeing him swing the ball, hitting the ball to right field and to right center.
It's already 9 hits for the Phillies against Jurgens. We're here in the fourth. 4-3 Phils. Victorino, who is 1 for 1. He walked his first time up. Takes low. 1 ball and no strikes.
You know, as a hitter, when you're looking at a pitcher and he comes over the top, easier to see the ball. You know, as opposed to a lot of times when he was coming from the side, even though he has a big glove, get a chance to look at that ball a long way.
How do you get back to? I mean, we've seen a number of guys who are injured, get arm injuries, have to do the same thing. How do they get back up top?
Well, they start throwing though and feeling comfortable. You have no pain, what allows you to get back to where you really want.
How about Polanco?
Well, you don't see that very often there, and he's in good shape. More on a surprise there as he ends up getting a great jump, straight steal as he goes down. Never looked around, didn't have to though with 2 outs.
Now he's in scoring position. They count 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Almost want to wait for that stolen base for the season.
And now that moves the count to 1-2.
You know, but anyone with an injury, whether or not it's a fielder or not, you know, you got to get back to where you feel comfortable in doing what, you know, you need to do. Whether or not it's sliding and you had a cartilage operation or a bad arm. And obviously, Jai Jurgens, his velocity is not where it normally is for me. Because he can get inside on batters, and we've seen him do that. Still relatively early in spring training, though.
Off the end of the bat, Jurgens makes the play. Phillies will settle for 1. They do leave 1 in scoring position, but they've been getting 2 out base hits. The latest one from Placido Polanco to give the Phils a 1-run lead. Top of the 5th inning, Joe Blanton back to work, throws a breaking ball for a strike. Blanton threw just 8 pitches in his last inning. Retired the side in orders, retired 6 consecutive batters. Here the Phillies lead by 1, 4-3 down in Port Charlotte, where the Phillies are taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. They're on top 4-1. Juan Pierre has a couple RBIs. Albies takes care of Pasternicki. And 1 away here in the 5th. Monday, April 2nd, the Phillies will be back at Citizens Bank Park, Sarge, and it'll be 2 games against the Pittsburgh Pirates, the on-deck series. The first game, fans will receive the IBEW Local 98 Jim Thome print, plus the second game, fans coming through the gates get the Expedex 2012 schedule magnet. There's a lot of other stuff going on for those 2 ball games. Go to Phillies.com and purchase your tickets. There are seats available for both of those games against the Pirates. J.C. Boscan takes the first pitch outside. It's 1-0. Also in that ball game in Port Charlotte, Ty Wigginton has a base hit and an RBI. Dominic Brown was scratched from that game because of a sore neck.
Wow. For a young player, he's come up with a lot of different type of injuries.
Fly ball, right field line. 2 outs. So Blanton again, 8 pitches in his last inning. Now he gets 2 quick outs here. So although he allowed the 3 runs early, he's kind of settled in a little bit.
No, he throws strikes. That's the one thing that Joe's going to do. He's going to be around the plate, and now he's come up with a pretty good off-speed pitch, keeping those hitters off balance. But you can count on him to throw his innings.
Well, and I think that's the big thing. Now, we talked about the fact that, Blanton is pitching here, and Joel Pinheiro is pitching down in Port Charlotte. So it's all part of the stretching out process. They want to stretch out Pinheiro. They want to stretch out Kyle Kendrick. Obviously, Joe Blanton. There are guys that they want to have innings, and that's why the split squad games are so good.
Well, you have to have innings because you got to build up their arm strength to go to those 6, 7, and 8 innings, and you don't know whether or not this person's going to get hurt, so you need more than just the regular 5 starters in which they've been actually doing. So, again, the more innings that they pitch, the better off-speed pitchers are going to be, more comfortable they're going to get, and it's going to be an easier decision for the Brass to be able to make some of these tough decisions.
Well, we're following the game down in Port Charlotte with the MLB at bat 12. Pinheiro went 2 innings, allowed a run, had a strikeout, 2 hits.
Well, it's decent, but I think right now, for me, the way that Joe is playing, and not only that, the shape that he's in.
Well, it turns out to be another 1-2-3 inning for Joe Blanton. Back-to-back 1-2-3 innings. He's retired the last 9 hitters he's faced. We go to the bottom of the 5th with the Phillies up by 1. Bottom of the 5th inning. Pretty good arms right there. Cliff Lee, Cole Hamels, Roy Halladay, and Kyle Kendrick. Kendrick's pitched very well. And there's Joe Blanton, who pitched very well today, particularly the last couple of innings, talking with Carlos Ruiz. Blanton retired the last 9 batters he's faced, Sarge.
Yeah, he sure did. You know what you like about him? The strikes that he throws, and he's not afraid to come inside on the batters, and he's actually got good action on the outside part of the plate there. He's just under command, and I think with having lost that weight there, he came in great physical shape there. You're going to pitch even better, play better.
Well, he is not done, it looks, because the Phillies bullpen has not started to throw at all. But the Brave starter, Jair Jurgens, is done. Jairo Asensio is the new pitcher for the Braves. And the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Or 2 balls and no strikes to Jim Thome.
Jim not able to recognize these pitches, actually starting a little bit quicker than you would like to have a hitter start. I say that because he's doing a little bit of check swings on those balls that are in the dirt there.
Takes a fastball for strike 1.
And you feel confident, however, in being able to catch up with that fastball. You can wait longer, see that pitch a lot longer.
See Asensio's numbers this spring. It's that one hard. It's going to go right through the shift. Second hit of the day. Is that what you're talking about?
That's good hitting right there. You know, you can always tell, though, because they're slow toward the ball, meaning that they have slow feet. The slower your feet, quicker your hands are going to be. Usually learn that pretty easy. Look at that. He just takes that easy step. Didn't jump at the ball. When you jump at the ball, it's difficult to tell exactly where the ball is.
That'll bring Hunter Pence to the plate. He's 0 for 2. He's struck out. He's also popped out to second. Lays off a breaking pitch. They appeal, no swing.
Most pitchers don't like to start him off with a strike. First pitch, that was a slider that you saw breaking down and away.
Pence is 0 for 2, as we mentioned, and he is as aggressive as you will find when he's up there at the plate.
He's gotten 2 breaking balls. See if he can get this fastball and stay through it.
It's that one sharply right past the shortstop and into center field. So Pasternicki could not get there. He's playing at double play depth, so he was shallow. And the Phillies have first and second right out of the chute here in the 5th.
Oh, even though he got those 2 early breaking balls, Hunter's staying with his strength, and that is the fastball up to the task as he drives that right there, almost up the middle there. He's on the fastball the majority of the time. He did get his foot down. Just driving, hits the ball hard an awful lot. A little more discipline will mean he'll have more home runs, but again, that comes with the more times that you're playing. Experience, will give you that.
John Mayberry 1 for 2. He singled his last time up, drove in a run. Phillies up 4-3. Phillies now with 11 hits in the game. Fly ball left center field. Michael Bourne battling the sun. Tomey's tagging from second. He's going to draw the throw, and he's going to get to second, and Pence will get to third. Pence will get to second.
While we talk about it, you don't have to be a fast base runner in order to be a good base runner.
I have to admit, I was surprised that he went.
Well, Tony, he got back right away. As soon as that ball was hit, he knew exactly what he wanted to do, and that was to get to third base. Took some little bitty steps, but he ended up getting over there. And any time you have that deep fly ball. Okay, now he's back on the bag now, and as he doesn't even look around. He knows he's going to come in and slide, take no chances, but that puts more pressure on the opposition with him tagging up.
So now the infield is in. Phillies up by 1. Scott Pasetnik the batter, and Pasetnik waves at the first pitch. It's 0-1. Pasetnik's 1 for 2. A sun-aided double his first time up, and then he grounded out his last time to the plate. They're in about halfway up the middle because Tomey, they feel like if they get a ground ball, they can still throw him out at the plate if he goes. Foul ball.
Now that's a real good point. And again, too, they don't want to give up any more runs. The one thing is, though, with that infield in, that ball goes through. Hunter Pence at second base should be able to score without a problem.
Senzio missed just about the entire 2010 season with the Braves because of visa issues. He's from the Dominican Republic. Turned out he was using a false name. His name at the time was Luis Valdez. And what a catch by Uggla. He caught that one before it hit the dirt. Right place, right time. The infield was drawn in. And there are 2 outs.
Good base running. We talk about that. Line drives. You want to freeze to see whether or not it goes through or not. If it does, then you go on and take the next base. Got to be able to get back to the base you're coming from on a line drive that is hit or caught.
So with 2 away, it's up to Ruiz. Now the Phillies have had RBI base hits with 2 outs in each of the last 3 innings. Let's see if they can do it again. Carlos is 1 for 2. Doubled his last time up. Takes upstairs 1-0.
The guys have been doing a lot better job and discipline at the plate. Well, they have swung at some high pitches, but nowhere near the way that we saw even last year. Swinging at more strikes.
Two and 1 the count to Ruiz.
You can tell Carlos is just confident, even though he took that 2-0 pitch outside part of the plate.
Lifts that one in center field. Not that deep. Bourne is right there. And the Phillies will leave a couple here in the 5th. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left in scoring position. We're through 5. We move on to the 6th here at Bright House Field. The Phillies and the Braves.
A homeowner puts a mark on their home.
A personal touch.
That's right. Leslie Goodell sits down with the Phil's homegrown ace as he talks about his contract status and whether he feels he's gotten the respect he deserves for his accomplishments in Philadelphia. Don't miss Phillies Focus, presented by Schuylkill Valley Sports, Sunday at 10:30, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Those trucks have been here all spring long. Get a chance to present this product back to the folks at home all throughout spring training, as Brian Schneider will take over for Carlos Ruiz behind the plate. So Carlos's afternoon is complete. David Herndon is the new pitcher for the Phillies as we go to the top of the 6th. The Phillies are on top 4-3. Herndon in 3 spring games hasn't let anything up. He has 2 strikeouts and 4 1/3. I have to admit, Joe Blanton has really been outstanding this spring training for the Phils. I know he gave up 3 runs today, but the way he finished, Sarge, is such a positive note.
Right, and not giving up really a lot of runs, but just like hitters hitting the ball and hitting the ball hard, sometimes you don't get the results. Same as the pitching. Want to be able to hit your spots. He did show some great off-speed pitches.
Martin Prado hits a fly ball down the right field line. Pence runs out of room. And it's no balls and 1 strike. The last 9 batters that he faced, he probably threw 25 pitches against those 9 batters.
He can get guys to swing at early strikes because he does throw strikes and variety of them. And I was just impressed with the movement that he had on the off-speed pitches.
Overall, he threw 66 pitches today. And lot of scouts are usually here during spring training. Radar guns abound. They want to see how a guy's improved, if they can stay where they were the previous year. And those numbers are important in case a player becomes available as the year moves on for any team around spring training.
Yeah, and if you're looking for a particular pitcher, they're looking to see arm strength, whether or not he has a good breaking ball or whether or not he's a good fit. And one of the things, though, for the Phillies, most of the players that they have, I mean, they can fit on any club. As you see one of the radar guns there. I'm sure fans have seen that before.
2-2 the count to Prado, and he rolls it foul. And it remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. David Herndon, who Phillies picked up a couple of years ago from the Angels in the Rule 5 draft. Up high, 3-2. Well, we're from Bright House Field here in Clearwater, Florida, the spring training home of the Philadelphia Phillies and the single-A home of the Clearwater Threshers. Hello, with Gary Matthews, I'm Tom McCarthy. Another foul ball by Martin Prado. A nice attempt by the ball girl.
Yeah, just got to turn the glove the other way.
Is that it?
It's not a magnet. It's not going to jump in there.
Well, she's not alone in that thought, though.
Yeah, well, a little disappointed that she missed it. That's why you appreciate the ball girls at Citizens Bank.
That's right.
They go get them.
Here's Galvis. Nice play. Sliding to a knee. Flipping a little leather over there at second base.
Yeah, there's no question. He can play defense. We've talked about it before. Just needs to hit a little bit in order to be a good player there in the major leagues, or at least to be able to play as he goes down in good fashion. Once he gets it, he knows. He just takes his time. A lot of confidence in the defensive part of the game. Just needs that on the offensive part.
Well, with one away, here's Chipper Jones, 0 for 2. He does have an RBI, though, on one of the groundouts that he has this afternoon. It's that one to left field, Posednik, near the track. You can always tell by the body language of the outfielder that they can see it. Maybe not the beginning, but certainly toward the end.
Yeah, that's the swing on the left side that's been bothering Chipper Jones. The right side, it doesn't bother him as much, but not going to be playing very long. So, man, you're going to have to get out there if you're going to chant that Larry, Larry, which doesn't seem to bother him. A couple more years at the most, you would think, but this not being his last year.
I would think this is his last year, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, hopefully we're going to have a chance to maybe interview him and talk about some of those things there. And he's been one of the best switch hitters there to come along a long time.
That ball is crushed by Dan Uggla, and it's not going to stay in the yard. A left center field home run, and it was a long one. And Dan Uggla's just tied this ball game up at 4-apiece.
Oh, boy.
Third home run of the spring for Uggla. Second home run today for the Braves.
Well, it wasn't a cheap one as he goes to left center, more center field. I'm betting the location of this ball is almost right down the middle. He's not going to miss those balls very much. The one thing he can do is this right here as he gets that foot down there a little bit up. Maybe if it's down, it doesn't go as far. That's why you want the ball down in the zone.
Eric Hinske, the hitter. It's 1 ball and no strikes to Hinske. Well, Uggla, who last year had 36 home runs, 21 of those home runs came in the second half, has his third this spring. 2-0.
Well, he can just murder a fastball, and been a good fastball hitter. Uggla has throughout his career, even with the Florida Marlins.
Phillies have David Herndon pitching here. They're also scheduled to throw Dontrell Willis and Antonio Bastardo. In fact, Willis is throwing in the bullpen as we speak. 2 balls, 1 strike the count to Hinske. Fly ball, center field. Victorino started back, but now he's under it, fighting the sun, and he's there. Pence was there as well. side is retired. Long home run for Dan Uggla. 5.5 in the books here at Bright House Field. It's a 4-4 game. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast, the official HD triple play provider of the Phillies, and by the Quality Plus Ford stores. Bottom of the sixth inning, it's a 4-4 game. Phillies and the Braves. These two rivals in the National League East have been battling for the last several years, obviously. Ernesto Mejia is the new first baseman for Atlanta. He'll take over for Eric Hinske. Martin Prado moves from third base to second base. And that leaves third base open for Drew Sutton, who will take over for Atlanta. And the new pitcher is right-hander Craig Kimbrel, the closer for Atlanta. Who had an amazing year a season ago.
Oh boy.
This year, 4 strikeouts and 3 innings of work. Kimbrel with 47 saves in his brief major league career. He was the National League Rookie of the Month 3 different times last year. Also was selected to the All-Star team as a rookie right-hander. And he'll face Freddie Galvis to start it off, and he fires a strike, so it's 0-1.
Well, fires a strike is right. This guy here throws as hard as just about any closer in the game. Does have some demons, however, last year, not being able to close out the fighting fields.
Galvis hits one off the glove of the first baseman Mejia, and he's safe at first. That should be an error. And we'll see how they score it. So the Phillies have the leadoff batter aboard. It is an E3. Well, Kimbrel and Johnny Venters both combined to give the Braves a heck of a back end of the bullpen. See, Venters a 1.84 earned run average, 96 strikeouts in 88 innings. Kimbrel 127 strikeouts in 77 innings. But a lot of folks think that they may have pitched a little too much last year.
Well, I mean, their manager, Freddie Gonzalez, kind of alluded to that maybe he pitched them a little bit too much in the first part of the season. But then you don't count on 2 starters going down. Jair Jurgens went down, and I think Mr. Hansen went down last year. One of the big reasons why they didn't finish in the playoffs, although they had a big enough lead to be able to do just that.
Well, Kimbrel last year finished with 46 saves overall and was the National League Rookie of the Year. In fact, he got all 32 first place votes. His record, his save total was a record among rookies in Major League Baseball history. Previous record was 40 by Neftali Feliz of the Rangers, but they will not make Craig Kimbrel into a starting pitcher like Feliz. 1-2 the count to Rollins.
I'm sure there's a lot of just regular players that are glad of that.
There you go. National League leaders in strikeouts for relief pitchers. Venters and Kimbrel among the leaders. Sam Palazzo knocks it down in the first base coach's box.
Now, a little easier to hit him from the left side, but from that right side, because he does throw a lot harder. He drops down when he throws and has that front foot almost pointing toward third base. J-Roll strikes out looking. Again, that ball gets on you and gets on you in a hurry.
Third baseman Placido Polanco.
Take a look at the location of it, and it's got some hair on it, and J-Roll just says no chance. There's his delivery there as he comes a little like 3/4 there.
Well, now Placido Polanco has had a good day. He also stole a base to go along with his 2 hits and an RBI. Phillies and the Braves tied at 4 here in the bottom of the 6th. Jair Jurgen started for the Braves. Joe Blanton started for the Phillies. Joe threw very well today. 5 innings, 3 runs. Got better as the day went on, which is, I guess, what a starting pitcher would like to do.
Well, he got more confident, it seemed like, and the pitches that they were throwing and swinging at first pitch, he was able to jam them or get them out.
Over to third. Sutton will go the short way to second. They'll get 1, and that's it. So 5-4 on the put out.
Also, this defensive change for the Braves, number 14, Martinez Prado, has moved from third base to second base. Center fielder Shane Victorino.
So 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Victorino, the hitter. Down the left field line into foul territory. Sutton, that's going to be a tough play. Diaz was there. Pasternicki was there.
You know, with the wind that's up there, the chair in the way.
The chair in the way.
Well, I mean, you know, you got to take the chair with you when you go. I mean, you've been taught that. Well, look at the fielders. They're looking up. She's just worried about herself, and it's out of here.
The chair, the wind, all the things that you would expect.
Ball almost hit her. You got to take the chair with you. She said, well, I got it the next time, okay? Spring training for them too, Tom.
Well, this time he is able to make the play on the room service hop. Phillies get a base runner against Kimbrel, but they leave 1. 6 in the books. Spring training for everyone, Sarge. We go to the 7th.
Jim Thome had a good spring for the Phillies. Here he is with a base hit in the hole to left field early in the game. Got a RBI on that. And then he has another base hit here. Beat the shift to right. And he ran the bases really well in the situation, tagging up from second to third. Here's Dan Uggla on an 0-1 count. Boom. No doubt about that when Dan Uggla hits a home run, and that thing was way out to left center field. That guy is legitimate power hitter in this league, and unfortunately he's still in this division. Here's a game summary. Phillies with a lot of hits today. They've left some guys out there. Rays 4 runs on 5 hits. You see the home runs by Matt Diaz and Dan Uggla, and Jim Thome, Jimmy Rollins, John Mayberry Jr. A lot of hitting today for the Phillies as Dontrelle Willis takes over, Tommy.
Yeah, Dontrelle Willis, who was battling a sore arm earlier in spring, back on the mound. The new third baseman is Tim Kennelly for the Phils. The new shortstop is Troy Hanzawa. And Rich Thompson is in center field for the Phils. And it's 2 balls and no strikes to Dontrelle, or excuse me, to Matt Diaz. Three and 0 the count. Dontrelle thought that was on the outside part of the plate. Well, not a great spring so far for Dontrelle. 3 walks, 5 hits, and an inning and 2/3. As he said the other day, he's just going to keep plugging along. And there's ball 4, so Diaz is aboard and leadoff walk.
Well, it's hard to compete if you don't throw strikes, and that's been his problem over the last few years. And they took a chance, bring him into spring training this year and see if maybe he could get the ball over against some left-handed hitters especially, and he's going to face one now.
Well, it is Jason Hayward who has struck out twice today. And he delivers a fastball for strike 1. Dontrelle, before his last outing, had said that his arm was a little sore after long tossing, but proclaimed himself okay. So the Phillies used him in the last outing, and he really struggled. But he's thrown back-to-back strikes to Jason Hayward, and it's 0-2.
That's the role they envisioned for him. Maybe come in and get Jason Hayward out. 6th inning, 7th inning, something like that.
Kind of like Arthur Rhodes had done for so long.
Great comparison. Not a guy necessarily as a closer, but for a situation where maybe the game's on the line. And this is a matchup they're really looking at right now because this is big league against big league.
Right, and it's a guy that the Phillies will face often during the year. 1-2 the count with a runner at first. Nearly offered at that breaking pitch, but it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Phillies do have Antonio Bastardo as a lefty out of the bullpen. But Charlie Manuel, like any manager, would like to bring more than one lefty north with him. If he can. Down the right field line, Hunter Pence on the run. He's got room, makes the catch.
They get away with one.
Dontrelle Willis's career, which began in a Cubs organization but really prospered in the Marlins organization, where he was the 2003 National League Rookie of the Year. Since the 2008 season, though, he just, more than anything, it's been his command. It's led to the 5.65 earned run average since the 08 season came to a close.
Well, you remember when he was in his prime, when he first came up, look, he was a strike throwing machine. He worked so fast, and he got his outs fast. He was exciting.
It was good for the game.
Great for the game, because then he come up and hit. He could hit the ball at the ballpark, and all that enthusiasm that he had. He was great for the game.
Astranicki is the hitter as Diaz draws another throw.
But this can be a cruel game, and it all changed for him.
Ball in and out of the glove of Brian Schneider. And then it's 1 ball and no strikes. Over toward third. Kennelly to second for 1. Can they turn 2? They do. I was surprised that Pasternicki was thrown out of the back end. So it's Kenneally to Galvis, the 5-4-3 double play, and Dontrell Willis gets out of a potential jam here in the 7th, thanks to the pitcher's best friend, the around the horn double play. Monday, May 21st, the Phillies and the Washington Nationals will get together at Citizens Bank Park. 3-game series, all 3 games, night games. Tuesday is a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night. They'll be going on all season long at the ballpark. Get your tickets and check out all of the Hatfield Dollar Dog Nights at Phillies.com. Bottom of the 7th, Jim Thome will lead it off for the Phils in a 4-4 game. Adam Russell is the new pitcher. Russell, who's been in the big leagues with the White Sox, with the Padres, now here in spring with the Braves. And the new right fielder is Jordan Perez. He'll take over for Jason Hayward. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Thome. Thome this afternoon has 2 hits. He's 2 for 3. 2-1 the count. Russell is a big dude. He's 6'8", 255 pounds.
Looks big.
Yeah. 2-2 the count. You know what college you went to, Willis?
Go ahead.
Anybody guess?
Another one. Well, you did this to me the other day, and nobody in the world could have guessed it. Very obscure.
Well, he's from North Olmsted, Ohio. So there's a hint for you. Swing and a miss. Thome rung up for the 2nd time today.
What conference?
I can't give you that one. Be a little too easy for you. There is a famous Philly alum.
Dayton.
Close. He's not a Flyer.
All right. That would have been Mike Schmidt. Well, Mike was from Dayton but went to Ohio U.
Right.
So how about that?
How about that?
Is that it?
That is correct.
Nice.
A little deductive reasoning.
Well, you know.
0-1 the count to Hunter Pence. Pence is 1 for 3. Ball 2 strikes the count. Pence today has struck out. He's popped out. He also singled his last time up. Phillies with 4 runs on 11 hits. The Braves 4 runs on 5 hits. And another hit for Pence. He nearly took Russell's head off on that one.
It looked like a breaking ball, and everything was moving in different directions, and somehow that bat got through the zone and hit a line drive. When you talk about being full and still hitting a ball hard, he just amazes you. Watch this. It's a slider away. Everything is exiting the home plate area, and then somehow he drops a head on it.
Strong hands, strong arms, strong hands.
I guess.
Very athletic.
Hard to reach that. When you got to have those arms like a praying mantis the way that he does.
He tweeted this morning with his Twitter account that he loves this part of spring training because everything is starting to flow.
What's that mean?
Well, I think he's feeling good at the plate. I think everything's feeling good for him right now. 2 hits today, 10 hits overall, 10 for 32.
We know he's enjoying playing in front of these crowds too.
Absolutely. John Mayberry ahead, 2 balls and no strikes in this at bat. Mayberry is 1 for 3 today with an RBI.
What a great ballpark, great atmosphere. And the last 2 years we've really been lucky with the weather.
Mentioned this ballpark here is very similar to the one down in Lakewood, New Jersey, the Lakewood Blue Claws. And I say that because of the open concourse all the way around the berm out in the outfield, although there's a picnic area out in center field at the Blue Claws facility.
Well, this is a smaller version of Citizens Bank Park in a way too, with the dimensions.
Sure.
That little angle out there in left center field.
Not entirely the same angle, but there is there are some nooks and crannies here. There's a picnic area down here in Clearwater down the left field line. 3-1 the count to Mayberry. Now 3-2.
I'll try and make something happen here and let him run. Then you strike out on a double play. That's the way it goes, but stay out of a grounded into double play.
There goes Pence. And it's ball 4. Close pitch. Mayberry let it go by. First and second with 1 out for the Phillies.
And Sonia gave Boscon a really good call there, a quick call, and that's what a catcher wants, because you could see Boscon, that was, as you said, Tom, close pitch. So he's thinking, I might get me a strike 3 call here, and I'm going to nail him at second. But you see him start the throw and then stops, because that ball's live if he throws it. And that's what a catcher really wants the umpire to give him a quick call, and it sounded like Iasonia did. Watch how close the pitch is. It's ball 4. Now he comes up firing, but he had already heard ball 4 stop.
So Posednik, the hitter, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Take a listen to what Willis is talking about.
It's good. You could hear him clear as a bell ball before he threw the thing. And that's all a catcher can ask.
Here's Brian Schneider getting set to bat for the first time. Swing and a miss. That may have been ball 3. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Phillies tied at 4 here. Senek doubled thanks to the sun his first time up. Phillies are also tied at 4 down in Port Charlotte, taking on the Rays. Under the watchful eye of Pete McCannon and Rich Doobie.
They blew a 4-1 lead, those two.
Oh, is that how you're going to play it?
Well, just reporting.
I'm going to text message Doobie right now and tell him that you said that he blew a 4-1 lead.
Feel free.
Base hit to right field. Pence around third, heading for home. The throw coming to the plate, cut off by Mejia, and the Phillies retake the lead.
It was aggressive by Juan Samuel. I don't know what he knows about that Mejia in right field, but he decided he was going to run him even with just the 1 out. And the throw was offline and cut off by the first baseman. Looks like he hurt himself a little bit. Here you go. Strong throw, but way offline, cut off by Mejia, the first baseman. Pence a good base runner, and you have a young player on deck. Here we go. and Hunter Pence scores the run. So that's just real good aggressive coaching by Juan Samuel.
So the Phillies take a 5-4 lead. Here's Brian Schneider.
Perez is the right fielder on that play. You know, he had Brian Schneider coming up, but he just decided he was going to take a chance there.
Brian 2 for 10 this spring. Carlos Ruiz started the ball game. Ruiz had a double in 3 at-bats. That one's off the hands into center field, a base hit. You want to talk about somebody who read the play properly.
Great base.
John Mayberry saw that right off the bat, and he scores easily from seconds.
Seen that a lot from him, Tom. That he is a very good base runner. A lot of stuff you don't teach. It's instinct, and it's not playing the game scared too. Smart and not scared. That can really help you with your base running. But as you said, he reads this. He read it right away off the bat.
Hesitate.
Nope, he knew that he couldn't catch it. Like that.
So the Phillies take a 2-run lead. They have 14 hits this afternoon. Schneider picks up his first. And now Freddie Galvis, who is 0 for 3 with a run scored. And 1 ball and no strikes to count. Galvis will be followed by Troy Hanzawa, who's in the on-deck circle in his second spring training game.
He's gotten hurt a little bit on his fastball. There's Hanzawa. He has been Russell, his big right hander, has been able to drop that hook in there once in a while.
There's a roller to shortstop. That could be 2. Quick flip at second. They're able to turn the double play. 6-4-3. So the Phillies get 2 here in the 7th inning. They leave 1. Time to stretch here at Bright House Field, or I should say go to the 8th, and the Phillies on top 6-4. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Acura. Acura Advance. And by WB Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. Go to the top of the 8th inning. Phillies on top 6-4. 6 runs on 14 hits. Phillies will face the Chicago Cubs at Citizens Bank Park on Friday, April 27th at 7:05. It's a 4-game series. Sunday the 29th. Well, guess what, Wheels? It's the Fanatic's birthday, brought to you by Citizens Bank, a free Fanatic bank. Fans 14 and under. Monday is the Hatfield Dollar Dog Night at the ballpark. So Smiley will be there not only for the birthday, but also back again for the Hatfield Dollar Dog Night. Get your tickets by going to Phillies.com.
Remember last year they brought us that really cool, tasty cake.
Yeah, might get that again.
Oh, that was an amazing thing to see.
All right, Wheels. There's number 22.
Right,
Scott Posednik in left.
That's his number 22, right?
And he's not playing both positions, but there's number 22, Derek Mitchell in right.
It's an exhibition game.
That's right. 22's all over the place. I mean, it's a good number.
Well, they do. You know what they do? Really nice job, Frank Kopenbarg and the equipment guys. Is these guys come over to play, you know, in a big league game, like they have their name on the jersey. You know, instead of just having the number and just well, whatever, come on over. You know, they make it a nice professional experience for them.
Antonio Bastardo is the new pitcher. 4th game for Bastardo. He's been good. It's been quiet, honestly, with Antonio Bastardo, and I think that's good because he's just done his job.
Good point.
He's trimmed down a little bit from a season ago, and he will face the bottom of the Braves order to begin the top of the 8th. J.C. Boscan, excuse me, is the first batter. It'll be Boscan and then Michael Bourne.
Bourne playing a lot of innings today.
1 ball, no strikes to count.
Boscan catching the entire game.
Phillies tomorrow will head to Bradenton to take on the Pirates. And then back home on St. Patrick's Day on Saturday.
That will be a 3-ring circus here on Saturday.
Always just here, you think?
Oh, well. I didn't even want to go there. But here it is festive. That's a tough ticket Saturday.
Up high, and it's 3 balls and 1 strike. Boscan has a base hit today in 2 official at bats. Phillies are also scheduled to throw Chad Qualls this afternoon, and they have Raul Valdez and Brian Sanchez in reserve just in case. Swing and a miss, 3-2. Threw a changeup there, count 3-1.
And catcher doesn't think he's going to get that here. You know, a catcher in this spot figures he's going to go with a fastball if he were back there, and they go off speed off him and fool him.
Schneider trying to get Bastardo to work on some of the other pitches besides the fastball. 3 balls, 2 strikes the count. And he got him. Tried to check his swing, but he went around. So a strikeout to start the 8th for Antonio Bastardo.
You got him to chase a high fastball here. He tries to hold up, does Boscan, but can't. This is going to be ball 4, but you know he has a live arm, does Antonio Bastardo. His fastball can get on you.
Joe Blanton retired the Braves in order 3 times this afternoon, and every time the Phillies do that, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by the Xfinity HD Triple Play, your complete lineup for digital TV, lightning fast internet, and home phone. Here's Michael Bourne, and he takes strike 1. Bourne has a base hit in 3 official at bats this afternoon. Back toward the middle. Henzawa behind the bag, has to hurry the throw, does so. 2 outs. Did a nice job. He showed great hands getting to that ball, and then a nice easy throw over to first.
Yeah, you can't waste anything when Michael Bourne's coming out of that batter's box.
So with 2 away, Martin Prado is the hitter. Wills, where do you think the trouble will come, if anything, for the Phillies in the East? I mean, is it the Braves? Is it the Marlins? The Nationals? I mean, where's the threat coming?
I think all 3 of them, Tom. You know, the Mets they're in a little bit of a flux situation right now. They're changing, but those other teams are all dangerous, and for different reasons. And I'm sure the Phillies will still be favored by many to win the National League East.
Rightfully so. Yeah.
But the other three teams are all good in their own way. Here's what they did last year against the East, and that's one of the reasons why they've been able to win so much lately, is they've been able to dominate their own division.
Foul ball, and it's 2-1.
But it's all paper right now. It's all speculation. But when you look at the other teams, I don't think anybody can say that the Nats have not improved, and Florida's, with the players they brought in, have to be improved. Washington has a chance to have a very young rotation.
Prado scalds one to center field, but Rich Thompson is there. Makes the catch. 1-2-3, 8th inning for Antonio Bastardo. A pretty clean frame for the Phillies left-hander. We go to the bottom of the 8th with the Phillies enjoying a 2-run lead over the to retake the lead. And our Toyota report, Phillies are 5-7 this spring. They also have one tie. They've hit 267, 11 home runs in 12 games. This is the 13th game. Team ERA, that's not too bad, 3.68.
Nice little Osprey condo there.
Yeah. They're all over the yard.
They are just a magnificent bird. It's amazing when you see them flying through the air with a fish in their talon. Think, well, they got dinner.
Well, Drew Sutton moves from third base to second base. Jose Paz is the new catcher for the Braves. And the new pitcher is Anthony Barbaro. And he delivers a pitch low to Troy Hanzawa to begin the bottom of the 8th. It's Hanzawa, played the other day here at Bright House Field. He takes low and inside. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count. Joey Turtislavich is the new third baseman for the Braves. One and 2 the count. And a called strike 3. Hanzawa's down looking to begin the 8th. Barbaro's numbers this spring: 0-1, a 9.82 earned run average. This is his 5th ball game. He's been in the big leagues before with the Braves. And now he'll face Tim Kennelly with 1 away. First pitch, breaking ball is in tight. Tim Kennelly signed as a free agent in 2003. He is from Perth, Australia. Wills, did you know that Tim Kenneally's father? Well, let's do a trivia here. What was his occupation?
He was I believe he was a golfer.
He was in the Australian PGA for 16 years.
Yep.
We're just getting ready for our trivia questions for the year. 1-2 the count to Kenneally. Last year, played at Reading, hit .215 at 3 home runs, 21 runs batted in.
Thought he taught that Greg Norman how to play over there.
Well, he did a good job there.
Yeah. A lot of good golfers come from Australia.
With a foul ball. The bell working. We had the buzzer working a couple of times.
You like the buzzer better?
Yeah. I figured you would get that one.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I remember
right up your alley.
Remember reading his bio one time, and that stood out.
Now the 1-2 pitch toward the middle, off the glove of Pasternicki, and Kenneally's aboard with a 1-out single. So the Phillies have a base runner. Hey, sign up now for the Fightin' Phils fan club. It's just $24.99. A membership includes the official Fightin' Phils fan club membership card, a t-shirt, and a patch. A subscription to MLB.com game day audio for your PC, plus special offers and opportunities, including tickets and merchandise. Go to Phillies.com to check out the information. Rich Thompson is now the hitter. We have seen Rich Thompson come up to play in spring training games for, it's got to be at least 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
Last year at Reading and Lehigh Valley, he combined to hit .278. Thompson has played in the major leagues for the Kansas City Royals. He did that back in 2004. He had 1 at bat. He was 0 for 1. Also had a stolen base. Swing and a miss, and Thompson is rung up for the 2nd out. So he's retired. And Brandon Tripp will bat for Jim Thome. So Tripp is in the DH spot. Tripp is very used to this batter's box because he played for Clearwater last year. Hit .322 with 5 home runs, 20 runs batted in 42 games. Out of Cal State Fullerton.
Looks like Chad Qualls out there.
Chad Qualls is warming up in the bullpen for the Phils. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Tripp was originally the property of the Baltimore Orioles. And then in 2010 went to the Tigers organization. There's Chad Qualls ready to go. To the count to Tripp. 26-year-old who went to Cal State Fullerton.
That's a good program.
Sure is. Pretty good numbers in the minor leagues. .272 lifetime average in the minor leagues. He was hit by 18 pitches back in 2010. That led the league. I guess you can see it the way he stands and dives in. You know, his back foot's close to the plate, but he is wide open.
Yeah.
Well, kind of brings his body toward the plate with his swing.
Well, there's a reason. You get hit that many times, you don't mind it.
Ever?
Well, you know, I've seen guys do that, and you know, they just can't quite get it in the right spot, and wow, and it hurts. But there's some guys that'll just, you know, they'll take one, and they have a knack for it. See, you know, I'm not saying he could move, but when he wasn't going to get out of the way that much. I mean, that was a great stat you came up with, and there it happens. Whoop, see that? You know, I know some guys, you know, you can't blame them. They'd have been gone. They would not have gotten hit by that. You know, they can get out of the way. And in that case, he just, you know, he reminds you of Dave Hollins a little bit, Chase a little bit, that they're not afraid, and they can take it off a part of their body where they feel they're okay.
Well, that means the Phillies have first and second with 2 outs, and Derek Mitchell is the hitter. And Mitchell takes a breaking ball for a strike. Mitchell last year had 19 home runs and 79 runs batted in. You know, after a minor leaguer is in the system, for 6 years, they become a free agent. Derek Mitchell was a free agent after last season, and the Phillies re-signed him because he is starting to put on some size, and obviously his numbers dictated that last year. Starting to fill out.
He's got a little bit like a Zimmerman look to him, his body. You know, I try to compare him as a player. Ryan Zimmerman is real special.
0-2 the count to Mitchell, who's 25 years old. Swing and a miss, and he's down on strike. So Barbaro does strike out 3 in the inning. The Phillies get a couple base runners. It's on to the 9th, folks, here at Bright House Field. The Osprey watching the Phils with a 2-run lead. As we move to the top of the 9th inning, trying to close out the Atlanta Braves. Tonight on Sports Night, going to break down of the Flyers and the Islanders matchup, plus a preview of tomorrow's Heat-Sixers ball game. The spring training report from down here in Clearwater. Plus, we'll follow the Temple Owls and their quest for the Final Four. Get all the news Philly fans need to know on Sports Night later on at 6 on Comcast Sports Night. Chad Qualls, the new pitcher for the Phillies. He'll try to get the last 3 outs here in the top of the 9th inning. Pick up for Antonio Bastardo. Jim told me he was sitting talking to Charlie Manuel for a little while. Now as he was going down the left field line, fans were calling out to him. They gave him a nice round of applause, and he couldn't help it but stop over and sign some autographs. He's taking a look to see if there's any action going on, because he doesn't want to be down there with his back turned as the game is going on. Here's Chad Qualls, who will take over out of the bullpen for the Phillies. Qualls in 3 games has allowed 4 hits in 3 innings of work. He had 1 really good outing, and the other 2 outings he's given up a run or 2.
He had 1 outing where they misplayed a fly ball in the outfield that cost him 2 or 3 runs.
So he'll face the Braves here in the 9th.
Your attention, please. Now on the pinch hit.
Should see Jose Contreras in the very near future in a game somewhere, whether it be here on the big field or again down on the minor league field. Christian Betancourt is the leadoff hitter for the Braves, 4 for 10 this spring. And the first pitch taken outside. Well, Jim Thome's made his way down toward the opening of the clubhouse, and Greg Murphy has him down there. Murph?
Yeah, thank you very much, Tom. 2 hits today, knocked in a run as well. Swinging the bat well this spring. You feeling comfortable, obviously, up there?
Well, I'm trying to get there. Been working hard, trying to get my bats in, and do all the little work you do, beforehand. But it's been a lot of fun. This spring training's been a lot of fun. Being back here, obviously, you hear the fans. The players. Hopefully we'll get everybody out of here healthy and we can accomplish what we're trying to do.
And everybody wants to know, obviously, you played in a minor league game at first base. You got some work in. And you were concerned about how you would feel the day after, maybe 2 days after. So how did you feel, and when can we expect to see you again?
I was a little sore the next day, but to be expected. I haven't played it, in 5 or 6 years. So, it's going to take some time. We've continued that work. By the time we get out of here, hopefully everything will be good and we'll be ready to go.
All right. Thank you very much, Jim. We appreciate it. Tom, he said he was asked if it was like riding a bike. He said, oh, it's not like riding a bike. Not at all.
Yeah, he was asked that, Murph, over and over again. It was really funny to watch his reaction. And, Thome played very effectively at first base. And here's some video of his game at first. And he continues to take ground balls even beyond that game at first. Even that part right there, Wheels, that part is something that, is a little different. Just getting over to cover the bag.
Well, it's not like he hasn't played it in a season or two. And you hear what he said, 5 years.
Yeah. Betancourt is down on strikes. Nice pitch by Chad Qualls for the first out.
Chad Qualls, a sinker slider pitcher, threw some sinkers. Now here he comes with his breaking ball. Paints away. Got Betancourt to chase.
So 1 away here in the ninth. Drew Sutton, the hitter. Sutton hitting in the spot vacated by Dan Uggla. Low, 1 ball, no strikes. Sutton will be followed by Mejia, who's on deck. And it's 1-1. Braves lost, if everybody remembers, Brandon Hicks, who was picked up off waivers by, I believe, the Oakland A's. So they have that utility spot that's kind of open right now for somebody to fill in. 1 ball, 1 strike the count. And strike 2. Foul ball right past John Mayberry. So it remains 1-2. Phillies a split squad today, as we mentioned, playing the game here against the Atlanta Braves, and the other game is down in Port Charlotte. They've gone to the top of the 8th inning. That's the Rays spring training home. It's a 4-4 ball game. Phillies had a 4-1 lead in that ball game, but as Wheels mentioned before, Rich Doobie and Pete McCannon, his crew couldn't hold that lead.
Just couldn't hold it.
And a call, strike 3, 2 outs.
Good job by Dan Iasonia to expand the zone up late in this game.
First baseman Ernesto Mejia.
This is a high strike, say the least, but good.
That was a high strike.
Oh yeah, that's a good 9th inning strike in an exhibition game.
Well, now Ernesto Mejia is 1 for 10 this spring. He'll be followed by Matt Diaz if we get there. The first pitch breaking ball floats outside. Want to know the count. Down in that game in Port Charlotte, Juan Pierre, 2 hits, 2 runs, 2 RBIs, 3 at bats. Hector Luna also had 2 hits, or has 2 hits so far, and a run scored. 2-0 the count. That ball's ripped into left field, a base hit. So Mejia with a 2-out single to keep the inning alive.
Well, that guy looks strong.
He does look strong. Tall, too. Look at him standing next to John Mayberry. He's a big guy. And Mayberry will play behind the base runner. The tying run coming to the plate. Matt Diaz, the hitter. Diaz 1 for 2. He's homered. He's popped out. He's walked. Down the right field line. That'll slice out of play.
That's more like Diaz have drilled the ball the other way like that. It was surprising when he pulled a ball for a home run.
Hit that home run to left center field earlier in the ball game against Joe Blanton, who went the first 5. Here we go. This is the second inning blast by Diaz.
Yeah, Joe pitched really well today.
Very well.
Probably would like to have that one back. That ball just ran right over the middle of the plate, and he didn't miss it.
Joe, 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, no walks, and 4 strikeouts. Off the end of the bat, Galvis is there, and the ball game is over. So Chad Qualls allows a base hit here in the 9th inning, but then gets the final out, and the Phillies have defeated the Atlanta Braves by a final score of 6-4, and we hope we say that quite often during the course of the 2012 regular season. Dontrell Willis actually picks up the win this afternoon for the Phillies. Adam Russell suffered the loss, and Chad Qualls picks up the save in a brisk 2 hours and 28 minutes. Wills, let's take a look at our W.B. Mason deliveries of the game for this afternoon.
Last time we saw him, he was signing autographs, leaving the ballpark, and Jim Thome had a good game here today. 2 hard base hits. That one in the hole, knocked in a run early, and then later beat the shift with a hard ground ball base hit to right field. He had some good swings here again today. As he was telling Greg Murphy, he's just kind of working everything out right now and just trying to get there, and those are W.B. Mason deliveries of the game.
Well, Charlie might be a little upset about some of the situational things the Phillies were unable to accomplish today, but they really did capitalize on 2 out base hits. Scott Podsednik had 2 hits today, double, an RBI single, and he's down on the field with Murph. Murph?
That's right, Tom. Pretty good day for Scott Podsednik. Swinging the bat very well in spring training so far, don't you think?
I'm feeling good up there. I've got my timing down. I've got my path down. So now it's just a matter of maintaining that and, continue to go out, get the reps, and try to get ready for opening day.
I was going to ask you how important it is for you to get reps, not only at the plate, but certainly out in the outfield as well, and keep showing your stuff.
No question. That's what spring training is for. Try to get yourself right and peak right at opening day. So, that's the goal of spring training, is to get the body, get the stroke, get the flow of the game, and get your rhythm going in opening day.
And you've always been known for your wheels, and we've seen a little bit of that as well this spring training.
Well, I'm healthy. I had a full season or full off season to train to get myself back in the condition I feel like I need to be in to go out and play my game. The body's feeling great. I had some foot issues all of last year that I feel like I've overcome. So body's feeling really good.
All right, Scott, thanks a lot. We appreciate it.
You bet.
Guys, back upstairs.
All right, Murph, a very good day for the Phillies offensively. 6 runs on 15 hits. Their starting pitching was outstanding this afternoon. And the Phillies win it by a final score of 6-4 over the Atlanta Braves. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this.